Okay, welcome to Weekly Talkback. My name's Kevin Beers,
And this is David Witten.
and we are talking back to Pastor Dave about yesterday's message, which was May the 7th. It was entitled, I Am Not Ashamed. So Dave, we're going to just jump right into it. One of the things you said in your sermon was we have traded religion for politics. Why do you think that might be? Big question.
Well, I mean, off the cuff, you have to know that Kevin comes prepared, but I'm not prepared to rebut anything that he throws at me. So my feeling is, I think Christians are pretty much human beings, and so they are corrupted by everything else that society throws at you. And so I think power and influence has been kind of key to the downfall of Christianity. I think that we have moved towards a desire to create Christendom as we see it, and want to have our country play it out. And so we push to influence, and we seek to gain power, and so consequently, rather than recognizing Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, now it seems like we've replaced Jesus with our favorite candidate.
Okay.
In terms of zeal and passion, I think that we have lost our passion for Jesus. I mean, we still claim him as Lord and Savior, but our passion now has moved into the realm of politics.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a complex question.
Yeah, it's very complex. Because what I hear a lot of times is, well, you can't be Christian and believe this at the same time.
Okay.
So, and it tends to be on the very conservative side that, well, you can't, I mean, why would you just can't have this one particular belief if you're a Christian. So therefore, you are now on the other side. And we've taken politics as this is how we play out our Christianity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have the right beliefs rather than the right actions. Right. I'm not saying either side has the right actions or whether or not
either side has the right beliefs.
Right beliefs.
Yeah.
But speaking as a conservative myself, I do see where Christianity will line up with more conservative politics, but I'm not, at the same time, when we look at a social setting, having the right political beliefs don't always play out well socially. Mm-hmm. So that's so I don't like to confuse my politics with my religion at the same time.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say even religion, because I'm with Reverend Frida on this one, where she said I'm a Christian, not like I don't have a religion. I'm a Jesus follower. Mm-hmm. I believe is the word she actually used.
Yeah, but I would remind everyone that Jesus was not a Democrat, and Jesus was not a Republican. Though certain, myself, I consider myself more moderate than you, and I think we both, know that. I see some things coming out of the Democrats that I think that Jesus would strongly support, as well as some of the things coming out of the Republican Party that Jesus would strongly support. And the opposite is true. I think there are things in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party that Jesus would say, nothing doing.
Right.
I don't want any involvement in that. And so I guess, your question is, due to all kinds of complex issues surrounding it, I do think in terms that we really have passion now more so for our favorite parties than we do for Jesus.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I like to take everything case by case and not tie it to a party, that kind of thing.
Correct.
Okay, and I didn't want to get into a political discussion with you.
Please don't.
That we'll save that for another day. Now, in your message, you also said the future of the U.S. church will be more global, with immigrants bringing their faith with them. And these global churches will bring with them an evangelical Christianity, an evangelical in the biblical sense of the word.
Right.
So we're actually going to discuss that in what evangelical itself. I mean, go back to the sermon and look at how Pastor Dave defines that, because I didn't want to take up time in this video doing that because it's already in a video.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that's a necessary change for our churches in this country?
To be honest, yes, I do. I do. And the reason is, I think that, again, due to all kinds of complex issues, I think the European American church setting, those who are descendants of Europe, they just kind of lost their zeal. I think they're just not where they need to be. And again, I'm stereotyping a lot, but I think in general, our faith has waned. And I think an evangelical Christianity, a Christianity that basically believes in the doctrines of the faith, the basic doctrines of the faith, and believe that the total gospel of Jesus Christ is necessary to be a follower. And so I think that these people who are coming, I think they exhibit that more than the American church, the European American church would exhibit. I think it's more balanced. I think their fervor for evangelism is a lot stronger. They're the ones that are getting out there and making things happen. And yeah, I mean, I think that is the future of the church.
Okay. And finally, this is from your message also. In this way, the term righteousness, which we find in today's passage, means being in a right relationship. This is going to go back to a conversation you and I had that was not recorded. Mm-hmm. But using the term righteousness and in your message, evangelical, do you think Christian lingo gets in the way of the gospel?
Yeah, I really do. I really do. I think, let's face it, Kevin, I think that today's younger generations, I don't want to say illiterate because it's such a negative connotation, but the essence is they're not very Bible aware. They don't know a lot about the Bible, except what they either read in a one-verse devotion, or whether they listen to a small verse or a few verses from the preacher on Sunday morning. Otherwise, they don't know that stuff. And so when you talk about righteousness, justification, sanctification, it just kind of goes whoosh. And so what I hope to do in my messages is to present the same basic doctrines without the, I think, unnecessary baggage of the theological verbiage.
Mm-hmm. Because you described yourself as an evangelical Anabaptist mm-hmm. Christian, and evangelical carries all this baggage with it.
It does.
Because of our politics today.
It does.
And that's how today it was very difficult to talk about anything not related to politics, because mm-hmm. evangelical, while in the biblical sense, as you say, just means the entire gospel of Jesus Christ. And I will go as far as to say maybe the word gospel is the wrong word to be using too.
Yes.
Because it's falls under that Christian lingo.
That's correct.
But gospel mm-hmm. meaning good news. The good news of Jesus Christ is what we refer to as the gospel. Mm-hmm. So with all that said, we're evangelical, and even for me, which I would describe myself as an evangelical Anabaptist also, I would go with you on that. Mm-hmm. Just saying the word evangelical, I'm like, oh, do I really want to put that in my description?
Right.
Because of all that baggage that comes with it.
Right.
So maybe my question, the essence of my question was, do we need a new Christian language so that we can talk to each other, new generations who, like you said, mm-hmm. may not And I think illiterate is not the correct word, but at the same time, the lingo that we've used in the church for hundreds of years no longer seems to apply to their language.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, I can't counter anything you said. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. I don't know whether we need a new language or not, but I think we need to present the gospel. And this goes back to Martin Luther, in the 1500s when he wanted to put the Bible in German, because it was in Latin and no German person, a lay person would understand anything. It was the privilege of the priests who could understand it and read it out loud. But to the lay person, they didn't understand anything. Lay person meaning someone who's not trained or educated in any kind of theology. And so kind of the same thing, I think, that's why I tend to be drawn towards some of the newer translations in the Bible, because it is plain spoken, everyday, common, relevant English of today that they're using, as opposed to the King James. I mean, it's for the younger generation, I think they would really have to doggedly wade through the Bible if it was a King James version.
All right, well, that's all I have for this week.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't catch you off guard next week.
No, you didn't catch me off guard.
But, so we want to know what you think. If you have questions, go back. The link to Dave's message is in the description below. Go watch that, come back, watch this video again, and then tell us what you think. Do you have questions? And we'll get those answered for you. And we'll see you next week on Weekly Talkback.
Yep, take care.